Are we rolling?
Are we rolling?
I think we're rolling on all three devices. Whoa. Hi, this is Jenny and Vaya with the Oracle Outlaws podcast, and today we're going to be talking about QHHT therapy, Dolores Cannon, and our celebrity of choice this week is Mel Gibson, and maybe we'll touch on Jim Caviezel a little bit too, just because they're kind of connected. And I think those are the topics. Oh, and we're also going to talk about Mercury retrograde because it's been a wild one.
It has.
So,
yeah.
How has your retrograde been?
It's been really, all of the old stuff from, like, really old stuff has been coming up. And that's been really interesting because, like, even this morning when I was getting ready, I don't cry anymore, hardly.
Did you cry?
But then I cried.
Oh my
god. And
gosh.
I was like, oh, that's a retrograde. Even, like, me crying is so retrograding. Like, because I'm pretty, like, even kill these days. But I was, like, thinking about, it's connected to the QHHT and the past life stuff.
Okay.
But it's about a relationship I have with a family member, and, like, it was something so small that just, like, opened the can of worms where I'm just like, oh no. And so I feel like that's just, it's healing.
Sure.
And I had like a little bit of, like, a picking relapse, which I don't hardly ever have those, but that happened. And then listening to really old music, like music I used to listen to, like going down the timeline of listening to, like, techno renditions of my favorite, like, 70s and 80s music.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
So, like, a modern spin on a retro thing. And then just I mean, even, like, my taste in food and things like that. Like, I'm retrograding eating gluten, which is hilarious.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm still kosher, but I'm, like, eating bread now, so that's really interesting. And yeah, how's your retrograde been?
It's been interesting. It's interesting that you brought the music up because at work I've noticed one of the girls started playing the, like, retro. I mean, this is not as retro 70s 80s, but it was like a 2000s, early 2000s, yes, which is like my early 20s, and I have not listened to that music in forever.
Me neither.
It takes me back to that time, but that was like 25 years ago.
I used to listen to that when it was on the radio, so hearing it now is such a throwback for even me.
Such a throwback. It was like early 2000s coffee shop was the, like, playlist that she brought up. Yeah. I think, but you were playing it too, right?
I was listening to it when it was on, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, like that song "Big Girls Don't Cry," and then, like, Rob Thomas. I love Rob Thomas.
Oh my gosh,
I still listen to his
everyone
music,
there loves Rob Thomas.
His newest album is really good.
Oh, he has a new album.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
And he still is married to his wife. He's like a real one.
Oh, we love that.
We love it.
Okay.
We love a king.
We love Rob Thomas. Okay, we do love a king. But yeah, that was interesting about the music. And then, yeah, definitely some blasts from the past. You know, I always say retrogrades are Return of the X. Yeah. It's kind of like Return of the X times. Like,
oh, yeah.
100. Yeah, so it's been interesting. I'm not, going to name names. Because some of the people might actually listen to this podcast. But yeah, there's been, I think my lesson, I'm just going to go over the lesson that I learned, is I think that, you being naturally altruistic, you want to help people. You want to, like, help the underdog or help. If you see an injustice, that's my thing. It's like, oh, that needs to be righted. And especially if the person's unaware of it. And yeah. But
yeah, you have a mama bear side.
I do.
You're just such a natural protector.
Can't help it.
And you're really good at it.
But I realize, and I've had this lesson come up, this is a repeated pattern. I'm like, people don't want to be helped.
Yeah.
They actually don't want the help. They would want to stay in a space of, I don't know if victimhood's the right word, but it's okay. It is. Victimhood, or just in the space of, they want to be in that underdog space.
And it's also, like, you're not allowed to energetically interfere with their karmic lesson.
Yeah.
Is, like, I think what that was showing, because I had a similar experience with not this retrograde, but just in general.
Yeah, in
like
the
trying to
past.
be that for people and then seeing very clearly, like, oh,
Like, you don't want my help.
you're in this, like, you want to be here.
Yeah.
So that's
the thing.
It's
If they're
like,
not
okay,
ready to
we're just gonna
move
stay
forward.
in our lane.
Exactly. It's just, yeah, just another reminder. Yeah, just stay in your lane. Exactly. And then, yeah, the whole theme, there's been like 3 retrograde people that have come up this retrograde, and it's all 3 have been the same. Like, they don't want help. Like, they act like they want help, but they actually don't. And then they turn you into the villain for helping. Like, you actually become the bad guy.
So interesting. It's very, like, it's that triangulation energy. And my pastor from the church I used to go to talked about that. He talked about, like, you know, there's a savior, there's a victim, and there's a perpetrator. But it's almost like that triangulation wants to continue itself. Like, even though everybody thinks that they're trying to get everyone out of it, like, everyone's, like, agreeing to that dynamic on a level. It's really weird.
It's interesting that you say that, because it was like, I thought I was getting us out of the dynamic. Like, door closed,
breaking
bridge burned,
triangle.
done. Respectfully, bridge burned.
Yeah.
But then it was like, but then the other part, the third party, wanted to keep the thing going. It's like, oh, but wait, I need to stand up for the perpetrator. I need to work it out with the perpetrator.
That's wild.
So yeah, so it's like, but they're trying to keep the loop going, and you're trying to close the loop and move forward. Yeah. But you can see that, like, oh, okay, you're in it. You're just in it, and you want to be there.
And that's, I mean, pulling cards, there was like so many loop cards.
There was a lot of loop. Drama loop.
Loop.
Karma loop. Energetic loop.
Like, the record goes on and on.
Yeah, and I'm done. I'm like, let's just move forward.
Yeah.
So I think that's been my biggest retrograde lesson, where I'm just, like, feeling it. I mean, I walked into work yesterday and I was like, I'm in retrograde hell. But it's okay. Lessons learned.
Yeah.
The lessons continue to unfold. But other than that, I don't think there's any. I mean, that's just been huge retrograde stuff. There's been, like, funny guy stuff, like guys from the past kind of coming up, where I've just, like, seen them, keep running into them.
Yeah.
And that's been weird.
It's like, so fascinating how they'll just, like, boop, a little, just, like, hey, in your field.
Me? Yeah, and I'm like,
yeah.
That's
I remember you.
And we're just, like, there.
Yeah, exactly. I never feel like when a guy enters your life again in a retrograde that you're meant to explore that ever.
Absolutely not.
Personally, I think that could be like a biblical retrograde rule.
Yeah.
Just never get back with the guy who shows up in the retrograde.
Absolutely.
Because it's never to get back with them. It's always just to provide you energetic check-in and maybe even closure. Or a follow-up on what was going on in that dynamic. Like, I think it's like a little check-in where it's just like, okay, like, this is where they're at right now. You've seen, you've checked in with their energy or whatever. Yeah. Like, they texted you, or you saw them at a grocery store or something.
It's so funny.
And I had such strong boundaries that I just haven't had any excess surface. But I had, this was crazy. I had guys walking by, or I would run into at the grocery store, that would look almost exactly like.
That's right. You had the lookalikes.
The clones, and I was like, this is really creepy, because it's like they couldn't get into my field, so they just had, like, lookalikes.
They sent their doppelganger
just to, like, be like, oh, hey, stirring all that stuff, which was crazy.
Yeah. Well, and I think, too, it's not necessarily you're pulling them back in. It's like they're almost checking in with you. Like, they're, because I'm like, I have not thought about any of these guys. No. I'm just like, what are you doing here? And the one guy tried to text me a few times, and I was just like, I'm not going to respond. Like, good luck getting a hold of me. I mean, like, the people in my inner, my inner 5, you will hear back from me if you text me. But anyone else, I'm like, you're lucky if I text back within a month. And if I'm not interested, I'm just not going to text you at all. So, because I ran into him again. He's all, did you get my text? Because he sent one, and then he sent another one like, wow, you really are busy. And then I ran into him again after he sent the 2, and I was like, yeah, I told you. It's like a month at the soonest, and probably not ever.
Yeah.
So, and then he sent a 3rd one just to maybe just make sure, extra sure. Yeah, it's that persistence I was telling you about. Yeah. For some reason, whatever coding I have, it like attracts persistence because I think I'm so avoidant. Maybe that
they're like, let's
maybe
try
it's like
harder.
yeah. And I'm like, no. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my retrograde. Yeah. And then of course like little technical glitches, but that's par for the course. I feel like. So yeah, any other retrograde stuff for you, or
I guess just that like an old friend was trying to reconnect, and then my old church that I used to go to was like coming into the field a little bit, which was interesting. And it's not, I don't have beef with my old church. I'm not going there because there were things that just were no longer meant for me, like with that timeline. Like I don't think I should be a part of any organized religious institution because of the way that my brain is.
Yeah.
I can't, I try to like conform too much and I lose parts of myself to that. I become like a sheeple. So I just can't. I can't. Like, I can't do like organized. Yeah, I'm too susceptible. Honestly, that's why I would make such a great cult member. Yeah. So I just can't.
You're just like, I'm all in.
I'm all in, and I can't do that. Like it starts to corrode on what I'm supposed to be doing. But I really do love everybody there, and I miss them, and I'm like wishing them the best. It was just like, oh, there's that, you know. Yeah. Those were kind of my exes.
Yeah, oh, definitely. So it comes back. Like you definitely got stuff out of it. Like you got what you needed from it. Yeah, like it served its purpose. But then you're just like ready to move forward with your own thing.
It was such a great launching off point to my like reconnecting to my relationship with God. And so, I mean, I'm still playing out like the prophetic messages that I got, and that's part of why I was crying this morning, because I was remembering one of them, and I was like, oh, it came true. And it was just like one of those things where in the moment when I heard it, I was like, that's BS. I've never felt that way. But then later I'm like, oh my God, it's so accurate. So powerful, like really powerful, the way that God's messages continue to unfold like years later. That's why the Word of God is so impactful to me in my life, is because it's living and it evolves and it reveals more of itself over time. It doesn't like grow old. So I've just been really chewing on that lately.
I love that.
Oh, it's retrograde.
I just remembered this, like the best part of the retrograde was our, let's see, she's my youngest daughter's half sister and also my oldest daughter's best friend. They were best friends when they were little, and so she was living with us. Like I had a whole thing with my youngest daughter's father, and he ended up taking off, but he took the oldest daughter, or his other daughter, with him, and they moved across the country, and it was a really traumatic moment. I remember, well, I told, you've heard all this, Vaya, but it was interesting because in that moment where he gave her less than 24 hours notice, he was like, we're going to go see my family in Tennessee. And we thought it was just going to be, well, he told everyone, I actually was like, he's going to move out there. But he told everyone that was just going to be for like a little drop in. Just I'm going to go visit my family for a few weeks and then I'll be back. And it was just crazy because she came downstairs and you could see she was just numb. And I remember just holding her. I was like, I'm so sorry, sweetie. I was like, we love you. And I just held her and hugged her. And she just you could just tell. I could just feel it. She was just like, ugh, devastated. And then they left. And that's actually the last time we saw her. Like, they didn't come back. He sent me a text. And actually it's funny, I actually told my 2 ex-husbands because they were around at the time. And I was like, I'm going to get a text from him saying that he's moving back. And then like a month later, sure enough, I was like, here it is. And so, so she just got whisked out of our lives. And, she got yanked out of like the family unit that we had created. And I just remember I went through a similar experience when I was in high school. My mom had done a thing to me where she yanked me out of my life with less than 24 hours notice as well. Like I was going to a high school that I really loved, and she was going through bankruptcy, but our plan was to like stay for like a year, pack up the house, because you know the bank doesn't take possession of the house for a while. Like you have time, you can like stop your payments and go through bankruptcy, and then you have time to get out of the house. They don't just like come in the night and take it. But yeah, so we had planned for that, and then she calls me. It was a Thursday afternoon, and I was home. I just got home from school. She calls me. She's like, pack all your bags. You're on a flight tomorrow. And I'm flying up to Portland. Because what happened was my stepdad had moved ahead of us. And he was going to like establish the house and his job and all that. And then we were going to move up like after my school year had ended. And yeah, so that's what I did. I packed my bags, got on a plane, and that was it. I had no time. I didn't get to say goodbye to any of my friends. I left the school that I absolutely loved, and I actually moved from LA to Portland, so it was just complete culture shock also, on top of everything else. Like sunny California to like, oh my gosh, the dark storm cloud of Portland where everyone's like gloomy. And this was the mid-90s. It was like 95. This was like the height of the grunge era. So Portland was like the epitome of like grunge. It was just like grunge central. And then like just the weather was gray, and I was like, I miss the beach and like all the tan people, tan happy people,
the sunshine
in Southern California. Such a different vibe. So yeah, that was really hard, but it's been a trauma. Like, oh, and I also started, so that was a Thursday, I flew up on a Friday, I had the weekend, and then I started a public school that Monday, and I'd been to private schools my whole life. So all of a sudden, a giant school, public school, such a different like situation altogether. And yeah, it was my 15th birthday. So happy birthday to me.
Oh my God.
Thanks, Mom. But I just was like, oh my gosh, when I hugged her in that moment, I was like, oh girl, I know how you feel. And but she just came back to visit us. So it's been 4.5 years, and we got to see her finally after all that. So that's been our
And she seemed like she was doing good.
Yeah, she definitely like, because they moved to the south from here, and that's rough. We're on the West Coast, and they moved to the south. So it's just a total talk about different culture shock. And so, you know, it's all right. She actually, so funny, ended up moving in with her dad's sister. It's a whole other story. But she's been there, and I think it's been a good situation for her. But she had the same thing. She'd been in she was in a little small Waldorf school.
Oh, no way.
And so she went from that, and then she was homeschooled for a couple years.
That's such a parallel.
And then she went to, she started public school her freshman year.
Wow.
And she was like, it was so scary. She was talking to us about it yesterday. We got to see her yesterday for a little bit. But, she's like, it was terrifying. And she's never really liked high school. She got to experience the high school, like, madness, trauma. So she's like, she just is so smart. She just took, like, all the honors classes. And now she's just she's going into her senior year. But she's mostly just been going to the college a couple days a week and then working.
Oh, good for her.
So, yeah, I think she just sped through freshman, sophomore year. And then junior year was just a couple classes at the college and work, and then she's doing the same thing this year.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think she's doing good, but I think she definitely is like, as soon as I graduate, I'm out. I'm gonna travel.
Oh yeah, you gotta see the world.
Yeah, she's not gonna. I think it's a really small town too.
Yeah.
So a small town in the south. She's like, it's really sweet and family oriented, but it's also like,
there's just not much to do. Like, I've been in the Midwest.
Yeah, that's what she was saying. She's like, there's not a whole lot.
I mean, it's tailgate parties and you go to sports events and then nothing.
And
bars,
church, right?
And church.
Church and bars.
Church and bars.
Church, bars, and tailgate parties.
Yeah.
A combo.
It's a combo.
Yeah. Well, and also she said it's very humid. I was like, oh, I've been through that humidity before.
Yeah.
Like one summer, my dad and I drove across the south, and I was like, we got to Texas, and I was like, what is this feeling? I was like, I need a shower immediately. And I remember taking a shower and then getting out. Like, I was so happy. And I got out and literally just the same feeling.
No.
Because it's just heavy. It's just heavy, humid. And coming from the West Coast. I'm just like, I'm a West Coast girl. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't do humidity.
I think Missouri had some of that too.
For sure.
Just
Yeah,
walk
very
out,
sticky.
and then there's like the crazy bugs and the crazy
bugs are
weather.
bigger. Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah.
It was so weird. But you know, it's crazy because I think you just like transferred codes to her when you hugged her. I feel like in that moment you're literally like, here's how you survive this energetically. You're like, because I've been there, I've done that, literally just transferring that energy to her. She's really better off knowing you. She's like,
she's special.
Seems really special.
She's special. Yeah, she felt like more of our family.
Oh,
I'm like, we'll just keep her, and then like whatever. It's like the dad can go figure it out, but I was like, yeah, we'll adopt her. And then my dream that I had, like, remember it was me going. I've talked about this dream a lot. I think I don't know if I've talked about it. I could talk about it again another time. But the dream I had was her. Matthew was like, I need to stay, and I still have more work to do here. But he's like, you take the kids, and it was like all the kids. It was her too. So he was almost like giving his daughter to me.
I
just really interesting.
In that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that
yeah.
makes me emotional.
I know.
That's really sweet.
I'll talk about it another time.
Okay, that's powerful.
But yeah, it's a good dream.
So you have a really strong connection with her. It's like, oh my gosh.
Well, okay, so our moms are kind of like the same. So I remember that's how we kind of bonded over that when I first came into their life, and yeah, it was a lot. I was like, oh,
and you're not gonna find many people who have that. I think that's like a rare situation.
And she sees everything. Like she's really perceptive. Like she's not a copy paste, because that can happen with those types of moms. She's a very like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she sees. She actually really, I think she studied psychology a lot as a hobby, just to try and figure her parents out.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like she could be a psychologist, honestly. I don't know what she wants to do, but I feel like she's got the experience, and then she also has the like fascination with like.
I feel like you did that too.
I did too. I know, because
you became such a psychologist.
Because I just accidentally happened to study a lot of that stuff, because I was trying to figure people out and like situations that I'd find myself in. But now I'm like,
it was a survival.
I'll find myself like analyzing situations from a psychological perspective, and I'm like, huh, I know what you're doing.
It's really wild. You're really tuned in, and I think it's interesting how that may have started just from needing to understand, just to like get through that part of your life.
Totally.
But now it's for sure a lifelong skill that some people just never get into psychology.
Yeah.
I got really into Brene Brown, and when I was going to therapy, it was like I started reading all these like these books and listening to these therapy podcasts, and I was like, oh, these are tools. Like people, I don't think understand the value of knowing certain signs and behaviors and being able to have a clear understanding of like where that's coming from. So I mean, we don't have to get into it right now, but I think you and I both have past where we've dealt with like narcissists, and so that is an initiation to seeing just how profoundly different people's brains can work.
For sure.
And it is, knowledge is power in that way.
Definitely, I agree. Just like, I think because we want to understand what they're doing. I think when I first went into it, it was kind of more like, what did I do? Like, what am I doing wrong? Was kind of like my first like foray into that. And then like as I further researched, it was like, oh, there's these types of personality types out there that are actually like insidious and harmful. And it's like, it's not you. I mean, obviously you're, what is it, playing your part in it in a way by like, what is it, attracting that? Well,
they target specific type of energies and personalities. So I do feel like if you're somebody who, especially if you're growing up in that environment, you haven't developed boundaries or an understanding of your worth or what you can ask for, what's normal, you do become a target for that kind of energy. Because people who are naturally empathic and accommodating and people pleasing just tend to end up in these situations.
Naturally attract those types because they want to. Well, I think they want pieces of us. You know, like we're that lightness. They're so attracted to like that a certain lightness in those types of people. You know, that are,
yeah, it's an energetic supply.
Yeah. So it's just they have to feed off of that, and I think that it's also, gosh, where was I going? I just lost my train of thought, but it's also, it's an opportunity for us to also heal the past, you know, where we attract that same type again to like heal it and like develop those boundaries, you know, so yeah, because it's never for the narcissist. It's never like, they're never going to grow or like find healing or like suddenly just change. You know, there's like no cure supposedly for narcissists. So it's like, oh, it's for our growth. They're here for our growth. We're not there for their growth. They're just like they're the lessons. But it's interesting because you're like, oh, a narcissist is never going to learn or grow from anybody.
And I heard somewhere, this was really crazy, I think it was from Joseph Prince or somebody else, that, or maybe it was Spirit Empowered Truth, I think it was Spirit Empowered Truth, that said the demonic laws, the laws of the satanic realm, is that like they have, it's the same algorithm over and over, they can't grow.
Yeah.
So hell is literally just repeating the same thing over and over again, which reminds me of that phrase, insanity is doing something over and over again, expecting a different result.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I think of that narcissist energy, and that's how it kind of actually leaks into entity problems, is where they can't evolve.
Right.
And so it's just interesting, like going through retrograde, I think, reflecting on those lessons with that energy and revisiting, like, what a transformative initiation that was in my past, and being like, oh my god, like, before I met someone who had that kind of brain, I never would have thought it possible that somebody could be so distorted.
Yeah.
And then after, it was like, wow, it's the they live glasses. It's the I've awoken to these like crazy energies.
Yeah.
And I see it clearly now. But yeah, that can't even revisit my field. I've had such strong boundaries now. Being a mom, it's like, forget about it. That's never coming in again.
Yeah.
But yeah, should we get into...
We should get into your QHHT.
Should we do that first?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's a good segue to talk about the reason I was crying this morning was a lot to do with it, because I got this prophetic message from my old pastor about... It was the first message he ever gave me, which is a very retrograde thing to think about.
Yeah.
It was like when I first met him, and I didn't know what I was getting into with this place. I was like very skeptical of everything, and he goes up to me and he's like laying his hands on me and praying over me and going, God wants you to know that he is your father. And it was really interesting because I was like in a place in my life where I didn't even consider that I had a father wounding. I think, reconciled to such the degree that it was like, oh, I don't even need any kind of paternal energy in my life. Like, I'm just so whole on my own. And then it was something came over me energetically. It wasn't of my will. Like, something came upon me. Like, the Holy Spirit came upon me. And I started bawling my eyes out. And I was like, why am I crying in this church right now? This is so embarrassing.
Wait, how old were you when this?
This was
like, how long ago was this?
It's a couple years ago.
Yeah, like when I first met you.
Yeah.
Right? Because you started going after I met you? Or were you going...
Oh gosh, it was like right, the overlapping of that timeline is like really close together.
Okay, because I remember when you started going I don't. Anyways.
Yeah.
So this wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't that long
Yeah.
ago, which is hilarious, right? Because I'm like a grown ass woman, and this guy's like, you have a daddy in God, you know, and I'm like, that's so silly. And I was crying this morning, and I was like, oh, I totally had an orphan spirit, and I didn't even know it. And that's so funny that the first thing God wanted to tell me when I came back from the church was just like, I'm your dad.
You're a child of God.
You're a child of God. You're my daughter. And I was like, that's crazy.
You're like, I have a father.
I have a father. It's insane. So, like, that's not what you expect, you know?
Right.
After, like, being a wayward, liberal, progressive, bisexual witch for, like,
that's so wild.
10 years.
I feel like we should talk about that eventually. Not this
I know,
episode,
it's like
but,
way out there.
Your
right
whole
now.
transformation.
Oh,
because you're
insane.
like polar opposite. Place
I
now.
literally have like 180'd.
Because I didn't know you when you were in your that phase. I met you kind of like
She was
after,
spicy.
Or after, or transitioning or something.
Completely
I don't know,
different person.
Yeah, wild.
It was so crazy. It was a complete soul retrieval. Within like
Whoa.
a month or so of going to that church, I like had an insane soul retrieval.
Yeah.
But basically, it ties into the QHHT. So here we go.
Which is also retrograde. Because
Super
you
retrograde.
You had one before last year, right?
I did.
And then now this retrograde you had.
Yeah.
With the follow-up.
The way that I found this QHHT, this is worth mentioning because it's so insane.
Okay.
My brother comes into town randomly for the weekend. And he's in the Matrix. Let me tell you, zeros and ones. He's a coder, like
binary code.
He's like, I think he was atheist. I don't know what he is, but he's just like so in it.
Mm-hmm.
He comes for the weekend to visit. I explained, I've got my daughter. I can't go far from the house, but I saw that there's a psychic fair down the road. We could walk to it. So we walked to it, and this woman gives us readings. So one woman gives me a reading, and another woman gives him a reading. And in that reading, she's like, you need to go to this QHHT event. I took a picture of the flyer. I'm getting confirmational chills. All the cards are saying you need to go. And I was like, okay. I was like, that's tomorrow. There's no way I could go to this random event in Grants Pass tomorrow. And she was like, you have to go.
Whoa.
She's like, I literally took a picture of this flyer for you specifically because I had no idea why I took a photo of it because I'm not going to be able to go. And I was like, okay, maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't. So then very last minute, I mean, to the like minute before I needed to leave, I was able to get childcare to go to this event.
Whoa.
So I drive to Grants Pass, and a friend that I was going to go to church with that day, because it was a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to go to church, and the friend I was going to go with texted me and was like, I'm actually going to be in Grants Pass that day.
Oh.
And I was like, it's a sign.
Wild.
I need to go to Grants Pass. So I go to Grants Pass, and then literally... this woman does this group session.
This is the QHHT lady?
This is
okay.
A different QHHT lady.
Okay.
This is my first time doing anything QHHT.
Okay.
And I had no idea when I went that it was Dolores Cannon. And it was insane because once I'm there, she's talking about Dolores Cannon and how it's quantum healing, hypnosis, trance. And I was like, Dolores Cannon, I was obsessed with her videos. I was watching her a bunch.
She's fantastic.
When I was it was after my near-death experience and my alien encounters that I found her on YouTube. Somebody sent me her video and I got really into it. I never read her literature, but I watched a lot of her stuff.
Yeah, same. Just like a lot of YouTube videos.
I know she does like the Notre Dentist. I have not read it, but she mentions Dolores Cannon. And I just felt this energy of like, oh my God, Dolores brought me here. It was crazy. Then we do this group session. It was really funny because it was like a Freemason there. And I was just like protecting myself from his energy the whole time. He had the worst energy.
Oh, I bet.
Oh my God, he was ruining
How could you
everybody.
tell? Did he have like...
He literally had
regalia?
it on his belt.
Oh God.
You know.
Just like blatantly like... Hey everybody.
And like, of course I'm running into an occultist while I'm trying to get my quantum healing hypnosis trance on. I had prayed so many protective prayers beforehand though. It's just what you gotta do if you're gonna do any weird like group hypnosis shit.
For sure.
So then I will not get into the visions because it gets like personal, and there's some things I just want to hold sacred.
Mm-hmm.
But then it ties to everything else because that theme proceeds to continue into my most recent session with that, what I had come up in that group session.
Mm-hmm.
And basically I decide I'm going to do a full session, but this woman was really expensive. And then, long story short, I get connected with a local practitioner
who's like basically down the street.
Yeah,
which is wild,
insane. And she was cheaper, and she was more qualified than this other woman. So it was just like divinely orchestrated.
Definitely.
And I think I was struggling for money at the time, so I had somebody like sponsored part of it for me to do it. It was really all divine, like God provided. It was beautiful.
Yeah,
really blessed that happened. And I go in for this session, and the woman who connected me to this other woman, they don't even know each other. So the fact that she gave me the information, they don't even remember how they like had each other's contact info when I asked about that.
Yeah.
So that was insane.
It's really interesting.
Just another like weird piece to all of this. I go in for a session. I have maybe 20 questions. I'm going through a divorce at the time. There's a lot on my plate. I'm like asking about it. It's a lot of 3D matrix questions. But I go into a past life regression. I don't even believe in past lives when I go into this regression. And I'm skeptical.
Oh, really?
I'm like, I
didn't know that about you.
I was going back and forth on it.
Okay.
Because I would...
Well, because you, like, rejoined to the church, right?
Yeah.
And they don't
believe in past lives.
Okay, so that's conflicting.
So I was like, I don't think I believe in past lives either, I've decided.
Yeah.
You know, like, I would just oscillate back and forth. Because I was like, you know...
Just on the fence.
My feeling was like, I don't want to believe in that and have something that's untrue come into my field if it's not true. Because I was just so tired of the lies and the illusions and the false light.
Oh my gosh,
I set a ton of boundaries against that. I was exhausted by it because of all my spiritual battles I was going through. I had enough on my plate. I didn't need to like go through a past life
another
thing.
one in there. Yeah,
it just didn't make sense to me. And so I go through this regression, and I wasn't even sure if I could get hypnotized, but then I get hypnotized and I'm in it, and I'm saying things that are like crazy. I have only ever had a past life reading given to me before by this blue avian starseed gal. She's very wonderful. I love her energy. She gives me this past life regression, and she says that it was like medieval times.
Yeah.
So I go into this past life regression in QHHT. It's medieval times again. I'm like, okay, a lot went down then.
Yeah.
And I think it's a different lifetime around that same era, though.
There's a lot going on in that time.
And it's almost giving not Dungeons and Dragons. It's giving I want to say like Game of Thrones.
Okay.
There's like fantasy mixed in with this medieval timeline. Okay. And I am almost like this elf woman. I go through underground tunnels. I traverse from one place to another. But then I guess this king had his eyes set on me, and he wanted to marry me. And he was kind of not a great king. Like, he would just let things burn up, and I'm like, you're a piece of shit for that. And then my dad was on his council, and my dad in that life was my dad in this life, which was really interesting.
That is super interesting.
And like when he came up and she was asking about him, my subconscious was just like, he just wasn't protective or helpful. And I think it was because his power was wrapped up in the king's power. Okay. So it was a conflict of interest. It's just like, I'm not gonna stand up for my daughter, you know, because it's a patriarchy and do or die.
That time.
And my sister was in this regression as well, my older sister, and she She just always comes up as such a character. I love her.
Is she? So she's in that same lifetime?
She was.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys have like been journeying together.
We have, and
That's
she
really
and
awesome.
I used to have dreams of her betraying me all the time.
Okay.
And it's become an ongoing joke where I'll text her. I'll be like, I had another one, and she's like, are you kidding me? You know, like we joke about it. It's hilarious. Like we laugh about it. I'm like, you literally betrayed me again. And that came up in the regression as well, that she's making up for that. In this lifetime. Because she's
making it right.
She's like stabbed me in the back a lot, I guess.
Okay.
Which I love her.
Better.
This lifetime's better.
Wait, you guys weren't sisters in that timeline. We
weren't. We were just friends, I think.
Okay.
And nothing significant came through with her and I. She appeared, but it wasn't like the focus of the reading. Yeah. It was a little all over the place.
Okay.
But it went through the overarching theme of my life and this regression, and I basically had to integrate the lesson of power from this regression. Yeah. Because I had a lot of power and I had this ability to go in and out of different groups. I wasn't held down to one group. I think some people in the Matrix get held down by, oh, I have this job and I have my home and this is all that my life is. And I was able to go into the mystical and the feminine, and then I'm in this political realm, and then I'm in this like healer realm. And so I was like going into these different places in and outside of society. Okay. And I had codes that way, and I was powerful in that way.
Were you like some type of royalty, or were you more like a healer, or
I think I was
like part of the court,
attuned to nature. It seemed like I had a lot of nature codes. I was so
like almost like
a fae, or not a fae.
Yeah, interesting. I'm just curious, like why you caught the king's eye.
I think I was like a magical elf-looking girl.
Okay.
And I had...
The elves are magical.
The elves are magical.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it. Like,
yeah.
I think elves are hot commodities
definitely.
In the kingdom realm.
For sure. And kind of like, what is it, elusive? Like a little out of reach, you know, for mere mortals.
I know.
But the king maybe thought he had a chance.
He did. He really wanted it.
He's like, well, I'm royalty, so maybe there's a chance.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Oh, yeah. That was the energy.
Interesting.
And yeah. It's funny you mentioned royalty, because that came up in my second
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that's been playing out in the 3D, like in my current reality as well. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It gets crazy. Mm-hmm. But in this reading, I keep saying reading, regression. I cleared something afterwards that she goes through your questions.
Okay.
So I did die a brutal death. Like, I was tortured.
Oh, sad. Oh. That's traumatic.
And so then traumatic, sad. Boo-hoo.
Was it graphic? Like, did you get the gory details, or was it like just you had a brutal death?
It was like those medieval torture devices.
Oh gosh, that sounds awful.
It was
so sorry.
So ugly. It was just
so
like,
sorry for your past self.
I know.
It's like, but see, those things I feel like carry through. They need to be healed.
Well, no wonder I don't even want to go into past life stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Whenever you do past life stuff, it's always like, oh, and then here's the trauma that is so far back in your subconscious you don't even want to look at it. It's like, okay.
This is such an aside. I just have the shortest funny, like my friend and I, like this is like 5th, 6th grade back in like the 80s, and we used to prank call people, and she had conference calling, so we could get like 3 or 4 of us on, and then we'd like prank call people. But she would do like, she'd call people and pretend she was like a past life reader, and she was hilarious. She was like the funny girl in class.
Okay.
And yeah, this is like 5th grade. I'm like, how are you coming up with this material? But she was like a comedian. But yeah, but she would just be so serious. Be like, oh yeah, would you like your past life reading? And she would like make up a whole reading on the spot. But it was hilarious. It would always end in some sort of like, oh, but I'm sorry, you were like burned at the stake, and then, like it was just so funny, or like, or like they poked your eyes out. It was always so funny though, and then of course we'd hang up, and then we'd be like laughing because it would start out good, and then it would have some like tragic
ending.
Like
you were an emperor,
but
and
then the town stormed your palace and like hung you up from a tree or something. But it was just like, but she was so funny about it, and yeah, but it just actually kind of reminds me of like kind of how the medieval stories go. Like it's like you had a magical life. Goes. Oh, and then it ended in the torture chamber.
Always.
I'm like, what is that?
That time, it's insane. Like people were really into torture around that time.
And I'm like, that's really messed up.
It's super messed up.
Like who could even be the person facilitating that whole thing going down?
Well, they were the reptilians. They're not real humans.
They're not human.
Humans don't like.
We don't have that gear.
It's like the Vlad the Impaler. Like I think. Oh, this ties into Dolores Cannon.
Oh, okay.
Dolores Cannon. I don't know how much of her shit is true, but she predicted 3 antichrists, and I think Vlad the Impaler was one of them, and Hitler was one of them.
And Dracula kind of spun off of Vlad the Impaler.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Dracula is literally draconian.
Yes.
So we're talking about the reptilians.
And the blood, drinking the blood.
Drinking the blood.
So symbolic.
It always goes back to that. So what's interesting is whenever I get past life stuff, the focus is never on who the enemies were, who was torturing you. It's never, oh, look, these are the particular beings that did this. Because I think that's besides the point. Like, we already know who our enemies are.
Yeah.
We don't need to focus on them. We just need to, like, heal from the imprints of that trauma.
For sure.
At least that's been my experience with that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so what's interesting is I think people were posting online, they were saying that the third Antichrist that Dolores Cannon was predicting was going to come from the Middle East. So there's a lot with that we could not get into today.
I feel like the Christian church also believes that.
Yeah.
Is that true?
It's biblical.
I mean, at least.
It's like Revelations, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. There's a lot of weird portals in the Middle East too, you know? I feel like there's a lot, because it's always so tumultuous over there, and there's always, it feels like ongoing turmoil.
Some people think it's Netanyahu.
Interesting.
Because the war, a big part of why this war has been happening is because he's been avoiding getting arrested for his crimes against humanity. And so if there's a war, he can't get arrested, is sort of the theory with that. I can't get too far into like politics and world affairs because I don't plug into it on a regular basis, and you're just getting fed a bunch of half-truths with the news, so no one really understands.
We don't really know what's going on.
But it goes really deep because there's so much biblically tied into the Middle East. There's so much spiritual warfare over there. It's really intense. But we're like playing out potential prophecies right now with that. And Dolores Cannon talked about that, but she also. So I will say with this regression, I ended up with the question part clearing out my chronic skin conditions. So I've had like chronic issues with my skin my whole life. I was born jaundice, had eczema. It got worse over time. I think with the immunotherapy, that was a huge mistake. And then I got seborrheic dermatitis, and I even had psoriasis at one point. It was just like all of the skin stuff.
Yeah.
And what came through with the regression was, that's how you connected and felt loved by your mom, was her treating your skin.
Wow, that's interesting. So in this lifetime?
In this lifetime.
Okay.
So it was healing that.
Okay.
And since that session, I basically had clear skin ever since then for the first time in my life. And if I get a rash, it heals up on its own, which it used to never do that. I had to be on steroids like off and on for my whole life. And then I ended up doing more work with that later that led to the next session. But the other thing that healed was actually, I don't know if a lot of physical things were healed with that first session. But yeah, so a year goes by, I've integrated that. My skin's clear. I feel changed forever. I felt so good after my session, but I also felt like my crown chakra was like blasted open. And then after about a year, I start to have a relapse of old stuff or a flare up of like skin stuff, and it made me think of the session I had. And I thought, maybe I should go in for a second one because it feels like the magic of my hypnosis is wearing off or something like that. Like
deeper stuff.
Deeper stuff was coming up, actually.
And more embedded stuff was kind of shook up.
That's exactly what it was. I didn't want to admit to that. I didn't want to be like, oh, there's more here.
Right.
Like, I wanted to be done.
Yeah.
Because that was a lot.
One and done. That would be amazing.
Yeah. And I will say with that first regression, just to go back to that, I was asking about my NDE. And so a lot of it was like, you're bypassing the karma, the programming, and the limitations of your paternal side. So it had to do with my dad. It was really interesting. It was like, if you're going to be evolved and on your highest timeline and like fulfilling your purpose in this life, you needed to get codes from a stand-in. So I had the confirmation that I had a stand-in, and it wasn't like Doreen Virtue tried to say, where like you're gonna commit suicide or you're gonna die, and that's why a stand-in comes in. It was a stand-in that was just
giving codes
and support for propelling me onto like an even better timeline than anything I could have done with the residual energies of my family's patterning. And so it's funny because I am a stand-in. I don't talk about it a lot.
Right.
It's just a silly
Well, how do you announce it?
Hi.
Hey, everybody.
I'm a stand-in. That means I'm better than you. It's just silly. But I basically became a different person after that near-death experience. And I had to do a whole soul retrieval with my emotions. And then I just had different interests and had different experiences after that because I was essentially integrating like a different energy into my being. And that's why I also took on the name Baya that came through in a dream. And so that just all played into that.
So wild. This is literally like right around the time, like I stepped in right after, like I came into your field like right after all this happened.
Yeah.
Is that wild?
I mean, you came in after all my crazy stuff.
You had just changed your name because when I started at the job, it was, you had your previous name. And then people kept, I think it was so recent that people kept calling you your old name. They're like, oh, I mean, Baya. And they're like, yeah, she used to go by a different name. One of the guys was like, oh, the artist formerly known as, your previous name. And
who was that?
Jared.
Oh my gosh. So funny. That was hilarious.
Yeah. He's got some funny ones.
Yeah. He's a funny one. He's a funny one for sure. Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Everyone was I think part of why I went back to that job was to integrate my new name.
Oh, interesting.
Because that's how it became my name. Because no one in my family circle wanted to take it on or accept it, but everybody in my friendships and at my work at the time were like, yeah, this is your name now.
And then you have your name tag, so everyone's just seeing that. It's like the mirror.
I will say that my ex-husband, before we got married, he was a big part of getting that to stick too, because he was like, you should just go for it. Like, he really encouraged that. So kudos to him for that.
That's so interesting because he encouraged that, and then you also ended up with his last name, so it was like a whole
we had a name thing going on.
Name change with him,
and he ended up changing his last name in the process of us getting married. He took off his father's last name, which I think was really like him trying to cut cords with his dad through our marriage. It was a really interesting
whole name
contract.
Yeah, because names are really powerful.
Names are so powerful. I want to get into that with my next session here, because that's when the name thing came up.
Okay.
Because like at the time, I changed it to Vaya, and it felt so right, and I had confirmation actually recently of why I did that. And I'll get into that. But my next session, sorry, this is so long, trying to summarize a lot of stuff into a very condensed amount of time. How do you,
that's really hard to...
Because these hypnosis sessions are like 6 hours. It's a lot. The second one I go into, I ended up going in because I was like having the worst steroid withdrawal skin flare up of my life. And it was bringing up all this old stuff, but even like older, I was just like, this is like a new layer coming through. And I don't know if I can talk about the proving. Should I just...
I don't know why not, because it was like remedy induced, you feel like?
It was remedy induced by the proving.
Definitely.
And so what's interesting about that remedy that ties into this second session is that the themes of Vikings were coming up. And I was like, this remedy is the most aggravating remedy I've ever helped triturate.
Yeah, we're talking about homeopathic remedies for anyone that's curious.
And it was a particular kind of obsidian, which it was like silica, mirror, and I want to say like regular obsidian on steroids with this remedy. It was powerful. So it's pushing out all of this repressed stuff inside of me. And I'm having almost like a soul retrieval experience with it. That's what led me to contact the practitioner again, because my skin is so bad. And I was like, something's happening inside me and I need to clear it. I need help.
This requires expert.
And that's also around the time when I started doing my reptilian readings, when I wanted to talk about the Cabal more publicly. Because it felt like such a burden after that remedy. I was like, I have to speak about the Cabal. I have to speak about what's going on, because nobody, like, it's so weird. Just going about our day-to-day lives and people are pretending this isn't a thing. And I'm like, that's actually insane. After doing the remedy, I was like, I can't handle that. That's crazy. So I go in for the second session, and I will say that the first session was just a build up to the second one. The second one, it was like, and I'm ready this time. I know what I'm in for. I go into it, boom, it's like medieval, but now it's Vikings. So I'm having this Viking past life regression. It's not even focused on, I'm not experiencing it from the place of, this is me. I'm watching a family play out their life in this lifetime. And it actually ends up being really benevolent and beautiful, and there's no torturous death at the end. Yay. So I was like, I was preparing for whatever. And the lesson with it was, there was stuff I could get into, but I will say that it also was tying into a Lemurian energy, and there was some water themes, really strong water themes. And so when I was going through that in the question and answers, it was a soul retrieval of my Lemurian self. And with these questions, it's hypnosis. You can ask for anything you want. So I was like, clear my swollen lymph nodes, give me 20/20 vision, give me my hearing, because I felt like my hearing was underwater for my whole life.
That's really interesting.
And I was like, also, I don't want allergies anymore. And I don't want, like, I'm just, it's like asking God. It's like, can you just give me superpowers? Can you just, like, give me my dream life? It was like that. So I was having a lot of fun with it. And I asked, I was like, can I also have the the supernatural ability to, like, miraculously heal people by laying hands on them? Which is something God technically can activate in me. I probably didn't need to go through a hypnosis, but I just wanted to make sure I got the codes for that, because I wasn't feeling it before. I wasn't feeling like I was miraculously healing people before. So maybe there was something there that I needed to just dig extra a little more. Like, I'm helping God out. No. I'm like, I really just you know, want to be able to supernaturally heal people, that would be great.
That would be amazing.
That would be dope.
Yeah, super dope.
And then I was like, oh, also I'd like to be fluent in Hebrew, trying to learn Hebrew, and give me this skill. It was like Neo from the Matrix, just super download fun. Me with all the stuff.
I love that. I can take notes for my session.
Exactly. Or Chuck from that show, Chuck, where he gets the...
Never saw that show.
Okay.
What does he get?
He gets the...
Like an implant?
It's like it's kind of like a computer that downloads him with all the stuff, similar to Neo from the Matrix.
Yeah.
But in real life.
Yeah.
And so that's how it felt.
Very fun.
It was very fun, and I also did get my lymph nodes. They have reduced in swelling.
Were they swollen? I didn't even know. Was that just like an ongoing thing that you had?
Or yeah, for a long time.
Since you were like little, or?
It got worse recently.
Okay.
With the long haul COVID.
Right.
Which was actually what cleared in that session. I cleared out long haul COVID. I had this weird frequency overlay on me for 3.5 years. Mm-hmm. And in the session, towards the end, my right arm starts to hurt so bad. I want to rip it off. I'm in trance, but my right arm is like hurting so freaking bad. And it's like pulsating and vibrating, and it's like going up into my head, like from the right side of my neck.
Whoa. And
I'm just like feeling this energy, and it's also all up in your crown, because your crown is getting torn open. Mm-hmm. And then I feel this like tapping on the arm, and it comes out that that's how I got COVID, was from somebody who like got vaccinated, and I took on their like vaccine entity. It was like
just by them tapping you, like, or how?
I don't know.
We don't know. Okay.
I did try to do energy healing on this woman who had gotten vaccinated at my old job. I don't think it was from her though. Yeah. But I felt like my arm, like it was like tapping to let me know this is where they got the shot.
Oh, interesting.
And then that left, and I also asked for strength and vitality in that session, because I have been so weak off and on from COVID. And after that session, I feel amazing. I was able to pack my daughter around to the park and back in the heat. I asked to get rid of dizziness and nausea, and they cleared that. We did a whole chakra scan, and so we like went through my crown, and my throat was a big contributor to like opening my throat chakra, healing my heart chakra, healing my solar plexus, because I was having weird gut and digestion issues with the COVID.
Yeah.
And that's been like cleared. Like I have normal, this is TMI, but I have normal bowel movements now.
Yeah.
Like with COVID, it just, something was off with my gut. It just felt like I had an upset stomach all the time.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
And so that was, and I did all the parasite cleanses. I don't think people understand, like, for 3.5 years, I've done every physical thing you could do to try and heal.
Yeah.
Holistically, through Western medicine. I'm a determined person. When I want to heal something, I will put my body through hell and back to clear. And COVID was the one thing that got me.
Yeah.
I could not clear that. And I was able to clear it through the subconscious.
From an energetic standpoint.
Through the quantum healing hypnosis trance. And I mean, the amount of change I felt after that. I get to hear my own voice now because my ears are healed. So I had
no idea that you like felt like you were underwater.
It's why I would kind of like talk mumbly before.
Oh, you did?
Maybe other people don't notice it.
No. It's fine. Yeah. That's got to be life-changing.
It's amazing.
Like
hearing my voice.
Yeah.
Instead of like an echo chamber of like water.
Oh my gosh.
And I guess that was because of my mermaid past life, which is so funny because I had an Akashic record reading where I was a frog mermaid in the seas of Mintaka.
A frog mermaid?
Yes.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Which would explain my crazy jaws. Somebody was like, you don't have jaws. I'm like, They're my frog mermaid past life dolls.
Oh my god.
And they're ultra rare. They don't exist anymore. So I'm special. And
They're rare.
I'm a frog mermaid. The seas of Mintaka. That's crazy. That would explain my insane Orion karma with that one guy. I'm just like, oh god.
I don't know if I heard about that one. Maybe I did.
You probably have.
Okay.
I'll get into it with you.
Okay.
And so I will say I feel better, and I'm still playing out the results of that session, and I would highly recommend hypnosis to people who they've tried everything physical and it hasn't worked. It might be because you need to address things from a quantum subconscious level. Mm-hmm. And I feel really powerful. I feel really healthy. And I was so high vibing. A weird side effect, and then I'll wrap this up, was I was getting a lot of demonic encounters right after my session. So I had dreams or entities come to me and like try to torment me through my dreams. And I think it's when you're operating on a high frequency level, you aggravate the demonic realms.
It makes you a target.
And so I'm being targeted, but I also have...
You can't have that.
I'm it's like water off my back at this point.
Right.
Because I'm like flying high.
Like, nice try.
And then the royalty thing came through. Mm-hmm. So it was confirmed that I have, this sounds so pretentious, like a royal past life thing. Mm-hmm. But I also got codes for royalty in this life because I had my exchange with my ex-husband who I kept his last name.
The name. Mm-hmm.
And that opened doors for me. I was given... I was favored and promoted spiritually by taking on his last name. Mm-hmm. And Spirit Empowered Truth talks about the energetics of spiritual names, giving you authority in spiritual realms. But when I took on his last name, I was like, I'm keeping this. I love it. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, it's like, that's why my daughter is an insane manifester, because she's royalty and she can easily call in whatever she wants. Yeah. So abundant. Yeah. I mean, I was at my most poor when I got pregnant with her, and then she's like, we're switching. You're actually really wealthy. Everybody's gonna give us everything we want and then some. And I was like, okay, interesting. Yeah. She has the codes, and I've been able to step into that more because now I'm hearing from God directly, his voice, which is insane. It's so insane hearing God. That's wild. I was like praying for it. I never thought it would happen. Just like a booming man voice telling you things. It's crazy. And so God was, he gave me, it's a sacred message, so I can't give the details.
Keep it close to your heart.
But he kind of confirmed a promotion, which is really special.
That's very special.
That's where I'm at.
Yay.
Yeah, to be continued if I can actually be fluent in Hebrew and have 20/20 vision.
We'll have updates. Yeah.
We'll find out.
To be announced. Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm going to do my session at some point because I'm inspired.
Excited.
Yeah.
It's profoundly life-changing.
Yeah. I'm excited because I've been a fan of Dolores Cannon for a long time, and I, like you, I've never read her books, but lots of YouTubes. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's funny, her videos on manifestation, like her technique, are the only like manifestation techniques that I think actually are effective, at least that I found. Like, I'm like, oh, her whatever method actually works. Like the other ones are, it's like, I don't know, there's something missing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. But I forget about it, and like I should go revisit some of that. But
she talks about NPCs. So she confirms the existence of NPCs. She talks about incarnation, and this is where I get into the weeds about it. I don't know if we're supposed to be incarnating or not.
Right. I'm unsure about that too.
I am unsure.
Like we could be stuck in a loop.
I wonder about the loop.
Yeah.
And so even though she's connecting with these beings that are saying there's so much about incarnation with Dolores, but you know, she talks about like if you try to escape or like commit suicide, you
Okay.
just end up right back where you left off.
I do believe in that, and I'm like,
which
probably
sounds
worse
really
off
resonate
because there's like karmic attached to that too. Like you ran from your obligation.
Yes.
And so
now you're coming back.
So now we're kind of going 10 steps back.
And I do feel like there was a lot of people committing suicide around the time of COVID.
Definitely. And I think that still, because Paul had 8 friends commit suicide.
Oh, that's right. It's just still in the field.
Which I also, like, I actually don't know anyone personally that's committed suicide. So I wonder about, like, the frequency that you're attracting in. Like, if that's where your friends are at. You know what I mean? Like, why
Be careful who you are friends with.
Yeah, because I'm like, well, if they're doing those things to their vessels, and that's where their brain chemistry is at, then yeah, that's definitely like so much more likely. That type of person is so much more likely to commit suicide.
I would have loved to hear Dolores's take on COVID. Yeah. She would have had a crazy insight into all of it, because she just takes it to a whole quantum level. But I do think that COVID, because I think it was the word COVID in Hebrew letters, flipped it. If you flip those letters, it's the mirroring of a word pertaining to a league of demons, but it's not any kind of demon. It's a detached entity that's looking for a host.
Wasn't it a Hebrew word?
It's a Hebrew word. Okay. I wish I probably should have pulled that up for notes, but
I did hear about that.
So there's information in the name, and the name was implying that this was an entity illness, and so everybody's getting injected with these entities or getting sick with these entities, and then you have the compacting of keeping it in with the mask and keeping inside your home and keeping in with the archons of your technology and getting blasted with all the EMFs and programming on top of that. So
there's so much to it.
There was a lot there. And I feel like, of course, that was a direct attack against, I think, the stand-ins and the starseed movements. I think this illness was designed to permeate and dissolve and interrupt the merging of these higher dimensional beings with humanity, is my theory.
Totally. COVID. Well, that makes so much sense, because you can't just attack us from a physical level. It has to be.
Yeah. So and it's all through the corona, crown chakra.
It's so interesting how it started off as coronavirus, and then they changed it to COVID.
They were like, that's too loud.
When it first, oh my gosh, too obvious, right? Because when it first came out, I was like, coronavirus. It's the virus of the crown.
The crown
chakra.
So, of course, the only way I could heal it was going into
the crown.
To my crown.
Yeah, by QHHT.
So that's so interesting.
Yeah. Also, the masks. That whole thing, I mean, it's symbolic of so much. It's also symbolic of, like, the armies of Set. They had to be masked and, like, go into the caves. But go into the caves. We had to be masked and go into our caves, our homes. There's just so much around that.
Very Egyptian.
Very Egyptian. And then, what was I going to say else? Oh, when I was reading, it's so funny because I always talk about Bringers of the Dawn, but I read that book like 5 times. But then I reread it again during the whole pandemic. And I was like, oh, now this book really makes sense. I was like, whoa, because it was a great book before. Like, I've just read it so many times because it's fascinating, and I always learn something new every time. But it wasn't such a different. I felt like it was explaining what we were going through at that time. I was like, whoa, now all this stuff makes sense, because they talk about don't cover your mouth. Like, that's if everyone blocks your mouth, it's blocking your DNA upgrades, because the oxygen that we take in is upgrading our DNA constantly. And so I was like, oh my gosh, they literally say it in the book. But it didn't have any context until, like, whoa. There's just so much in there. I actually just started reading it again because I was like, I want to go back through this book and, like, see what else I can pick up that I missed, like, before.
That's incredible.
Because there's a lot of stuff out of context until COVID happened. And
it's like it was preparing us for that. That's a very channeled literature
I think
piece.
I can't remember if it came out in the late 80s or early 90s. I feel like it was late 80s, 89 or
like
something.
Timeless.
But yeah, I was like, whoa. And time is so, like, you know, what she channeled in that book, like, the timelines aren't, like, she'll put dates down, but it's not the date. you know, it's just kind of like, I think that we like timeline shift a lot and stuff, and the dates will change. I don't
Right.
think when someone's channeling, they can be like, here's the date where, you know, this is going to start happening. I think it's like,
it's shifting.
It's constantly shifting. And
Mhm.
so, but yeah, stuff has unfolded. Like in that book, this is fascinating. But
That's
yeah.
wild.
Yeah. I'm going to review it.
For sure.
I just kept having all these aha moments because I was reading it. I was like, wait, what? This is exactly what we're going through. Like, she's describing this time.
That's
crazy.
powerful.
It was really powerful. Yeah. Alexa actually just started reading it like recently. She just picked it up a couple weeks ago.
I might have to read it
I'm
at some point.
curious her thoughts on it.
Yeah, I want to hear. That's amazing.
Yeah. Anyways,
should we get into
Mel? I think he was our last topic, right?
Let's do it.
Mel. We love Mel.
We love Mel.
Well, it's funny because, have you seen very many Mel Gibson movies? Because we're like a different generation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, have you seen any? I'm curious.
I saw one that he directed.
Which was?
The Passion of the Christ.
Oh, you did see that one.
I saw
You know
it.
what's funny? I've never seen that one.
Perfect.
What did you think of it?
I, ironically, was told to watch it by my ex-husband when we were married at the time. And
this is like,
because I was going to church and he was going to his occult mass, and we just were like two sides. We were trying to make it like two sides of a coin thing, where like we were coexisting. We're just doing our thing.
You worship God, I worship Satan.
Yeah,
you know,
we have our differences.
Yeah.
So funny.
This could work.
So funny. And then he ironically was like, we should watch The Passion of the Christ. And I was like, oh, he's interested in Jesus. I should encourage that. Yeah. I don't really love movies.
Same.
But I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So we watch it. And, you know, some people were like, it's too gruesome. And they would say, it's too gruesome. I had to turn it off. I watched it. I didn't get that vibe. But I've seen a lot worse. So I think I already kind of developed a desensitivity to violence on films. I will say Jim Caviezel, we don't have to get into him now because we're talking about Mel, but this is Mel Gibson's film together, with Jim Caviezel starring as Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And watching this film was so activating for my husband at the time that he had an encounter with Jesus shortly after.
Which is so wild.
And I was like, oh, he literally wanted to watch that film for himself to give himself codes about Jesus. And I really did feel like our relationship was energetically, I was supposed to direct him to God. I just had always felt that. And he technically propelled my relationship with God further by being so on the other end of the spectrum.
He did, yeah.
But he was doing his occult ritual that he would do. I forget what it was called, but he would do it like 3 times a day, and he was doing it. And the whole purpose of this ritual is to connect with your guardian angel. So everyone in the Thelema is supposed to connect with their guardian angel to help them attain enlightenment and do the will of what they're supposed to do in this life. And he ends up seeing Jesus like so clearly and undeniably that it freaked him out. He like was talking pretty intensely to me about it after. He was just like, I saw Jesus and he was my guardian angel and I don't understand that. Like he was really confused as to why Jesus would be his guardian angel. And I was like, wow, this film essentially propelled him into like getting codes from Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Which is really
wild. Huge. I wonder how, thinking about, what we watch is so important.
Yes.
And like, that's amazing.
I know, because he was a movie addict his whole life. He was raised on films, and he would watch them for 9 hours a day since he was like 9 years old, because he had free roam of a city and also would go to a movie store and just watch all the films. Wow. So the biggest movie junkie you could think of. Yeah. So really his brain is a lot codependently enmeshed with media and film. And so it makes sense that he got such a strong reaction from a movie.
Yeah.
And I want to say that Jim Caviezel was amazing in this film, but he also got struck by lightning 3 times.
I remember hearing that and I was just like, what?
The making of this film.
Yeah.
Jesus was like, if you're gonna play me,
yeah.
You know, like it was profoundly life-altering for him. Mm-hmm. He didn't die, which is great.
Yeah, no,
He got struck by lightning thrice, I think.
I mean, just how?
Just God being like, you know, careful. Yeah. You're representing me, so you kind of need, like, that's a big, it could easily fall into blasphemy.
Yeah,
if you're not careful.
For sure.
Like, you're walking a fine line, buddy. And Jim Caviezel is Catholic, so I think he already was having a relationship with God on some level. I don't think Catholicism is the same as Christianity. Like, I don't think we need to confess our sins to a priest, and I could get all into that, but
yeah.
Also, Catholicism has been problematically compromised by the reptilians as a safe haven for the pedophiles. And the Pope was prophesied to have died on Easter. There's a whole thing there. But
there's a lot there.
I hypothesize the Roman Catholic Church is the harlot church mentioned in Revelations in the Bible. I don't know if it's Revelations. Anyways. Probably.
Yeah.
A lot about whores and harlots.
Yeah.
And so Jim does an amazing job. He actually, at one point, he's carrying the cross in this film, and not acting, the cross falls on him. He falls with the cross onto the ground and bites his tongue, and blood gushes out of his mouth. And they kept that as a scene in the film, but it wasn't acting. He literally got injured and just kept going.
Yeah.
So he was a king for that.
Hardcore.
And this man, there's a reason he was voted the sexiest actor alive. Beautiful.
Oh, he is. Yeah.
Beautiful man. They're supposedly making I want to say the Resurrection of the Christ, part 1 and part 2, something around 2027, but Jim will not be in it because he
got struck by lightning 3 times.
And he's aged. So I guess Jesus is supposed to be in his 30s forever.
Yeah.
And Jim is now in his 50s. He's looking like a silver fox, but we cannot have him as Jesus anymore.
Can't play 30s, but...
And I guess another person who was in that original film won't be returning. So I'm kind of wondering if this even should be a film. Like, I don't know. But the resurrection of the Christ, I'm like, that is probably because that's what the collective is asking for, is the resurrection.
Oh, yeah.
Like, energetically, we went through the death of Christ.
Yeah.
On this collective level, and now we're moving into, like,
ready
this
for the resurrection.
So I think that's what Mel was trying to channel with this, I want to say sequel. And Mel Gibson, I listened to an interview of his from 1998.
Yeah.
And he talks about Hollywood.
He does.
And he alludes to a lot. He alludes to, like, the Truman Show, the theater. He alludes to maybe some spell casting. He's having a conversation, like, how he becomes recruited into Hollywood is he's having a conversation on a couch, on a roof, on a skyscraper building with Chris Hansen, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's who it was.
And Chris Hansen just is asking him some typical questions and kind of being like a hard ass about testing his acting abilities and I want to say improvisational skills. And then he asked Mel, he goes, "Do you believe in the Antichrist?" And Mel just synchronistically turns and sees LED 666 lighting up on a building right behind Chris.
Oh, okay, so I think, yeah, I heard kind of a different version of this.
Okay.
But tell your version, and then I'll tell you the version that I heard.
And then And then Mel goes, I think Chris Hansen is the Antichrist. Like, kind of jokingly.
It was Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken, thank you!
Yeah.
I'm not good with celebrity
names. Was actually
names.
interviewing for a part.
Okay.
And...
it was one of his first parts, right? In Hollywood.
Well, I think it was... Yeah. And he's like, I don't want to work with this guy.
Oh, and he ended up not working with him.
Yeah. Because he's like, oh, this guy...
So he literally got the signs. This guy's up the devil.
Well, he was like, he's like, this guy came floating towards me, and it was like, he was like floating.
Oh, he was like, he was hovering.
But he was like in black.
And he like almost like teleported to him.
Yes, he just like kind of floated over, like, the Antichrist. Yeah, and he just got like weird vibes. He's like, he's like, got to a point where he was like, it actually felt really scary.
Yeah.
And then he just had these signs. He looked over and saw the 666 lighted up on a building and was just like, I don't think I want to work with this person. But okay, so here's a really interesting thing about Christopher Walken, because total creeper vibes, like all the way around.
All the way.
I mean, he's a great actor. But I'm like, creeper. I just always had creeper vibes. And I think a lot of people have. Like, if you'll read comments on like anything with Christopher Walken, they're like, yeah, creepy. But what's really interesting, I don't know if you heard about the story of Natalie Wood, who was married to Robert Wagner. So they're just old. They're like older actors. I mean, Christopher Walken he's kind of ancient now. Like I feel like he was old a while ago. I don't even know how old he is now.
He's always been old.
I feel like he's pushing 100. One of those people, exactly. They just, when he was 10, he probably
Benjamin
looked like
Button,
50.
Like
yes. But, so Robert Wagner was married to Natalie Wood. She's like an actress from like 50s, 60s, I feel like. And Robert Wagner also actor from that time. But Natalie Wood, so her and Robert Wagner are married. Christopher Walken is like friends with Robert Wagner, I think. So Christopher Walken, sorry, I keep calling him Walker. Christopher Walken and Natalie Wood are starring in a movie together. And they all go out on a boat one night, I don't even know, evening. And they're out on the boat and Natalie Wood drowns somehow. And like they've never talked about her death. Like Robert Wagner, the husband, and Christopher Walken, it's like been, like nobody knows what happened. They won't talk about it. They're just like, oh, she couldn't swim and she drowned. I'm like, well, why is she out on a boat?
How did two grown-ass men just watch a woman drown?
Yeah.
Watch, you know?
Yeah, so, like, that's a whole interesting, like, that's a whole story. I remember I dove deep on it back in the day, but I hadn't thought about that story in a long time. And then I was, like, listening to the Mel Gibson thing about Christopher Walken thinking he's the Antichrist. I was like, oh, that's interesting. He was on that boat that day that Natalie Wood died. And him and Robert Wagner have just been, like, under wraps about the whole thing. Like, it's just been this whole mysterious, like, nobody knows what actually happened, but there's so many weird, like, things that don't line up, and, yeah, so maybe he is the Antichrist. I have no idea. And also, was she a sacrifice? Like, what was that? Like, were they in
What
on
was
it?
that?
What was that? Because I don't think it was just an accidental drowning.
Yeah.
So, and just interesting that Christopher Walken happened to be there.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And they're also starring in a movie together at that time. Like, what? I don't know. Just what was going on behind closed doors. Like,
that's insane.
I should actually look up. What I should do is research the movie that they were doing, see who was the director, kind of like maybe the topic of the movie, and
because it's
see,
always
like,
tied back to the movies.
I feel like so much so.
They usually do these sacrifices as part of making their movie successful, I think. It's like they off one of the people that's a part of the filmmaking. Yeah. Like they did with,
oh my gosh, Heath Ledger, right?
Heath Ledger.
Exactly. And also, and it's interesting because that was the whole Jason Lee who did The Crow. And like The Crow and the Joker, like the makeup's similar, and like The Crow was almost like the Black Joker.
Yeah.
Back on it. Yeah, so it's like all tied in. But yeah, they were
their rituals.
Very ritualistic.
And so Mel was, I think, he just knew enough to know not to work with the devil. And I think that's what spared him this whole time. It's interesting because he's amongst demons, but very like protected.
Yeah,
But
that's
then
really fascinating.
I wonder if God protected him because he was going to make the Passion of the Christ. Like, I just have this theory about it. Where almost like prophetically he needed to. It's almost like he's like, I want to say like paying his way by like not getting murdered, by being so blatantly, I want to say, propelling and sparking energy of the Christian movement. It feels like the deeper you go into Hollywood, the more you can't have middle ground. You kind of need to choose your side.
Which definitely, it can't be blurred lines.
It can't be blurred lines. You can't dabble in both. You're either going to be like working for the devil, or you're going to be contained from that.
It has to be very clear. Yeah. Well, he's a very devout Christian. He was actually raised Catholic.
Was he?
Also.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I think that, he's just like Christian now. I feel like.
He does talk about God. I forgot.
Yeah, he's very.
I forgot definitely, he was Christian.
Oh yeah, he's a God guy. He's a very spiritual guy.
It's crazy.
And yeah, he obviously just had the information and the codes that needed to be put out into the world,
And him and Jim had to do it together. They were like destined for it. It's so interesting.
They're such a pair.
Because Jim is Catholic, and I think was probably raised Catholic too. Mm-hmm. And Jim has been in. Go ahead and go with your notes right now, and then I'll get into
Well,
Jim.
No, it's okay. Oh, you want me to keep going with Mel?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that you brought up, like, how, because it's so curious, like, how has he survived Hollywood? But I think he just has, like, I think you have to have, like, a certain amount of, like, mental fortitude and, yeah, just so much will against, like, the evil. Mm-hmm. And you just kind of, and also Mel Gibson, so this is kind of, he's more from my era. He was like the 80s, 90s guy. Well, he started getting blacklisted like late 90s, so I would have been around 18, 19 around this time. And I remember the controversy when it came out, because Mel Gibson was just, like, he was in the Lethal Weapon trilogy, and he was in Braveheart, which is such a great, that's probably my favorite Mel Gibson film. He also did Maverick. I don't know if you haven't seen it. It's so good. It's so funny. But no, he's done some really epic films, but everyone just knew him as like this great actor, and then all of a sudden he's getting blacklisted for being anti-Semitic and like just running his mouth about the perverts of Hollywood. You saw part of the interview. Mm-hmm. That was kind of like, and you can tell he's holding a lot back. He's kind of like, Mel reminds me of a guy who like plants seeds. Which is funny because that's kind of how I operate. There's so much I have to say, but I know I can't say everything. So I'll just kind of drop little hints. And I feel like Mel is like, actually, people think he's nuts and just like saying crazy stuff. But I'm like, he's actually being pretty tight-lipped.
Yeah.
But he's definitely like, he's dropped some truth bombs. And yeah. And I think the fact that he's always been a little like wild man, kind of crazy. I think a little edgy. He's a rebel, and I think that kind of scares Hollywood too.
Yeah,
because
uncontrollable.
So yeah, and I feel like those types are, I don't know, protected somehow. He's also like the Christianity, but then also he's like a loose cannon.
Kind of like Trump.
You don't know what to expect.
You don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
At least Trump before this like imposter came in.
The imposter. We don't even know what it is.
I don't know. We don't know if it's a clone,
or
a lookalike,
an android, or a mask, or all of the above. Yeah. But it's definitely not. It's so weird because he's like a cartoon caricature of like what they created in round one.
It's what they wanted him to be.
I'm like, oh, they're gonna play the part.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, he was also, you know what? I started watching his interview with Joe Rogan. I only got like halfway through it, but it's really funny. He says something. You can tell he's dropping hints and seeing how far Joe's gonna let him run with it. And there's this part where he's talking about human sacrifice, where like Mel's kind of feeling the waters, and Joe Rogan gets so uncomfortable. He just gets like, oh yeah, like in the pharmaceuticals and stuff.
In the pharmaceuticals,
like human sacrifice, and Joe ties it to like, oh, like pharmaceutical midlight, or just like.
I never liked Joe Rogan personally.
Well, he's obviously handled. He always has handlers, and his responses are so
safe,
not authentic. Yeah, very safe. Like he almost has like a, what is it?
An overseer, a manager.
Oh, for sure. for sure. But his responses are so almost mechanical. Curated. Like, he has, like, certain things that he can respond. And so it's very, like, careful. You can tell he's not... Because there's, like, an inauthenticity.
Which means that he's in it.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah.
He's too far gone.
Yeah. So, it's interesting that he has the guests on that he had. Like, I'm curious why he had Mel Gibson on. Because I feel like when he has people like that on, he almost has them on, and then he'll have them on again, but the second time is to kind of smear them.
Ooh.
But you can't smear Mel, because Mel's so down to earth, and, like, that's the thing, too. Like, when you hear, like, people talk about Mel, because, you know, it's just really hard to smear Mel's image, you know? Like, with the people.
He's
I feel like
Hollywood.
Protected. Yeah, I feel like Hollywood has tried to smear him, but people that, like, have actually met him, or, like, people that have known him in their lives are, like, he's one of the most genuine, down-to-earth, authentic men I've ever met. Like, truly kind. I guess there was a award ceremony where Robert Downey Jr. was talking when he was at his super low point, and he's, like, the only person who truly reached out to me, like, in authenticity as, like, a real person, and, like, never treated me differently was Mel Gibson. And literally the audience was just quiet. Like, everyone just sat on their hands. There was, like, no applause. And
that's
like,
so weird.
I know. And it was just, like, crickets.
How do you have crickets into that?
I know.
That's insane.
Yeah. So, like, and I think Robert Downey Jr. in that moment, he was just, like, trying to be like, hey, this is what a true friend really is. Like, there's a lot of, like, fake friends in Hollywood, but, like, Mel's a true friend, and everyone just,
he wasn't even saying anything controversial. He was just saying something sweet.
Yeah.
That shows you, like, how satanic they all are.
Yeah.
Because we can't even clap. Because it's Mel Gibson.
Because it's Mel Gibson. Yeah, it's against the rules.
It's against the rules. We're going to get blacklisted.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that Mel, because there is this other theory about Mel. This is another thing that I found while I was digging, is that he was, like, trained as a Jesuit. Like, he actually, like, graduated from the Jesuit Academy or something, and, like, he's actually a plant. For, like, it's just funny. And there are photos of him with his hand doing the Jesuit hand signal. And there's the photos like this. He's got a one-eyed photo.
What?
But I'm like, but they're old. I'm like, well, that was when he first came to Hollywood.
Okay.
And, like, I think that, like, they kind of get you and you're posing for magazine and you don't know what you're doing. And then you figure out, you're like, oh, wait. Because Mel does talk about, like, he's like, when I first got here, he's like, I wasn't really sure what was going on. Because he kind of came in, like, a little naive, but, like, stuff felt weird. And he talks about that. And he's like, I just had to kind of, like, learn how to function within the system without becoming part of it.
Yes.
And he's like, there's just kind of, like, these unspoken contracts that you make with people. And you just have to, like, I don't know. It's like Hotel California, right? Like, yeah. It's just...
That's exactly what he compared it to, I think. I think he even
Did he
said
actually
in
do
that
that?
1998 interview, he compared it to The Truman Show, Hotel California, maybe even...
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, I didn't get that far in the interview.
I don't
That's
know,
really funny. Hollywood just reminds me of that song, Hotel California.
It's exactly
that
song.
You can check out, but you can never leave.
The craziest, when we were talking about this, because we've talked about this just in the past, I want to say it was like a couple months ago, I drove by a sign in neon blue lights.
That's right.
Shortly after talking about this with you, that said Hotel California.
Yeah.
Chills.
Yeah. You're like...
I was like, oh, it was like an advertisement for a rendition of that at a casino.
Oh my gosh.
You know, because what are the odds of seeing that? Because it's such an old song. You're not going to see that on a billboard.
Yeah. Just randomly.
But there's so much truth to that song. Like, you check in, you can never leave. Like, you're making all these occult deals with people. It gets darker and deeper. And that's a really similar, I want to say macro way to the way that the Satanic Church operates. It's like a lot of people go into it, they don't even believe Satan at first. And they're lost in their identity, and they just feel different, so they think that that's how, like, Satan appeals to people. Is like, you're different, you're the black sheep, come be with me, because I'll accept you. You're ostracized, you're on the outside. I know what that's like. And then pretty soon they get compromise in these rituals, and it's being filmed. And so Rhiannon Swailgar talks about how they use these footages against people who try to leave and say, oh, we have you helping with sacrificing or whatever, so if you leave, we're going to release this to the public and ruin your image.
Mm-hmm.
But it was grand scale. Like, the Satanic Church in Africa that he was the leader of had, I think, 15,000 or 50,000 members. I know that's
probably 50.
Probably 50,000 members. Mm-hmm. And he said that it's big. He's like, yeah, it's not messy. In order to be satanic and do these rituals, you have to involve the police force. You have to involve people from medical branches giving and donating like fetuses and body parts and things like that. You have people, so you have dirty cops hiding evidence. You know, that was the whole satanic panic thing, where they were hiding evidence and calling people crazy for thinking that these deaths were rituals or satanic, because the police would come in who were affiliated and get rid of the evidence. And so I think Mel was seeing that on some level just with Hollywood, where it's so grand scale, and you just basically can't trust anybody.
No.
And you just have to smile and play a part and keep it all really surface.
Yeah.
But don't like make any deals. Don't invite people to your house. You know, things like that. It's like they're like vampires. They're like, can we come in? And you're like, no. Bye.
He talks about that in one of the interviews. He's like, oh yeah, it's really like, he's like, you get there and people are like, oh yeah, don't go to that house on the hill because like bad things happen there. You know, it's just like things, like actual things that you think would be from a movie. It's like
it
actual
looks like an ominous
like,
vampire mansion, and
stay away from the vampire on the hill. The house on the hill, there's a vampire there.
Wow.
Like legit. Like a real vampire.
Yeah, like a real one.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just interesting. Gosh, I couldn't imagine. Hollywood just, I don't know how anyone survives there. Like, I respect for Mel Gibson, like, and also getting as big as he has, you know, because you always are suspicious of someone who like gets that far, and you're like, oh, are they a part of the club? But then he just kind of, he had to like, the whole like town was against him. He had to like fund his own movies,
right?
And, like, just kind of like just be a lone wolf, and he did it. He stuck with it. He's still doing it. It's pretty impressive.
And that's the difference between Hollywood and real talent, right?
Yeah.
Because you can do a ritual, you can sacrifice a baby, and you can get a glamour spell put on you where you're put in all these sexualized roles, even though you're an ugly ass bitch. But at the end of the day, if somebody has real talent, you can't even suppress that. Even in Hollywood, and also there's laws spiritually that they have to abide by. They cannot stop God's agenda. If somebody is meant to rise to fame, if somebody's meant to get a message out into the world, nothing's going to stop that. They can try, but they have limitations. And so Hollywood wants to have a monopoly on what's put out into the public and what's consumed as popular pop culture and media and what's influential. But they actually, I mean, we're seeing it crumble in real time, their influence.
Oh yeah, nobody cares about celebrities anymore.
And the award shows are such a joke now.
Oh, they are.
And no one is spellcasted by it anymore. I mean, people are, but
but very few.
Tabloids are falling away. Things like
the Met Gala, nobody cares.
No one cares about the Met Gala, and the smear campaigns that they would do on celebrities. It's like people are using critical thinking now.
Yeah,
because they saw what happened with Britney. They saw what happened with these celebrities that were absolutely destroyed by tabloids.
Yeah. And
that actually, when someone's getting smeared by a tabloid, it's because they're doing something right.
Exactly.
So Justin Bieber leaving the Hollywood, selling basically his entire life's work was him breaking a satanic contract, which is why he can now talk about the evergreen freights.
The what was it?
The evergreen freights.
Oh, what is that? I didn't hear about that.
It's the freight loading facility right next to P. Diddy's house.
Gotcha. Okay.
Where they would transfer the the cargo.
Mm-hmm.
And so
The human cargo.
Justin Bieber was alluding to that on his page. Oh my god, even Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. She had like a whole
She had a come to Jesus moment.
Yeah.
And I don't think she's allowed to talk about Jesus, but I mean, she really truly is making posts about the cabal on her Twitter now, and I think her Instagram.
I saw actually like little snippets of that. I thought that was really interesting.
And so I don't know what to make of her, because she was in that interview with Erica Kirk, and they essentially called JD Vance an assassin, and then everyone was like laughing it off, and that was insane.
Didn't see that one, but
but she knew she fucked up when she said that. So I don't know if she knows more about Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Yeah,
I can't get into it right now.
Right.
All that to say, Mel Gibson, I think, has been divinely protected by God to create his content, because he's actually just a truly talented individual. And he's super high vibe.
Super high vibe.
High frequency, I should say.
Yeah, just like a genuine, actual, real human.
A real human being.
Yeah. And I don't think that anything can compete with that.
You can't smear that.
No.
It backfires.
They're just gonna shine through.
They shine through.
Yeah.
And I will say Jim Caviezel is also a saint in his own right. He and his wife, I was reading up on Carrie Caviezel. They've been married for, I think, almost...
You said like 30 years?
30 years or more.
Okay.
And that's a rarity in Hollywood.
It's
I
so
will
rare.
say that having
even
a couple...
just in real life.
Even in real life. Take it from someone with a 1-year marriage. It's like mad respect for that. And Carrie, he met her, I think they were high school sweethearts.
Oh my gosh. That's really, actually precious.
Really precious.
That's so rare. That's just rare.
It is. Yeah. Or they met like right after high school. I can't remember.
Okay.
I think they met in college, like right after high school.
So they've had a stretch.
And she proceeded to be a teacher, and then proceeded to get into the pro-life pregnancy centers. So she's been working that for over 20 years, where she's essentially helping women keep and provide for their child and not abort was her movement with that. And I'm like, oh, what an extreme counter to Hollywood. And Jim and her have adopted, I think, 3 terminally ill cancer patients, children.
Wow.
And I think they're still healed and
amazing.
Went into remission and are living, like, grown up now.
That's incredible.
And they were all kids from China. I think they ended up getting them a little older because they wanted to show that, you know, like, they mean business about the pro-life. Like, they take the life of children seriously, and they want to help the children who don't have the opportunities or homes or healthy upbringing. Because I think the whole point with that is, like, people get on Christians or just anyone who's pro-life, they get on their ass about, well, you're not contributing to the homeless children problem or the orphan children problem. Or what about those children who live really horrible lives full of abuse, and, like, what about them? Like, you know, and so they were just walking the talk by adopting those kids, which is really amazing. So they're, like, they really believe what they're doing, and they're really dedicated to it. It wasn't like a fad. It wasn't like those celebrities that, like, adopt kids to, like,
because it's, like, trendy,
because it's like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, like, it's the thing to do.
And then yikes.
And so it's like, here's our poster child for
it's almost like a virtue signaling, like, oh, look how many kids we adopted. How great we are. We worship Satan behind the scenes, but
but we haven't adopted kids, so you can't say anything about us because we're super high morals.
Angelina's a humanitarian.
Yes.
Was it a Goodwill ambassador? Is that what she was?
Totally. But Jim Caviezel no coincidence that he ends up being the hero in these really powerful films and shows.
It's true.
He
was in the Count of Monte Cristo, which is an incredible movie. It's like a Shawshank Redemption. Well, Shawshank Redemption. I can't say it. Shawshank Redemption is the Count of Monte Cristo. Okay. Basically, it's like the same story, but the Count of Monte Cristo is an incredible story. But Jim Caviezel was in it. He's the main character.
Wow.
He does such a great job. But you were going to talk about the show.
Oh, the Person of Interest.
Yeah, and I have not seen that.
It's such a good show. My mom would watch it, and I would just like end up watching it with her, and we both were just like, Jim Caviezel, love him.
Amazing.
He was incredible in this show. He's such a modest actor. He refuses to do like nude scenes with women. He doesn't want to do anything uncomfortable for his wife. Like
so respectful,
such a king. So like he hardly like kisses a woman in this entire series. You know, like he's so modest, and he ends up doing this show where I think his name is like John, and this guy John is like I think from government intelligence, and he ends up getting involved with this genius guy who invented an artificial intelligence. This is crazy. He invents an artificial intelligence that is like the big brother. It's almost like a virus where it can go into any kind of technological device and watch you and get information on you. Oh. Like it's unlimited in its scope. It can travel from device to device. It's almost like free. It's like a Wi-Fi free, like, you know, it just goes everywhere.
It's like a virus.
It's literally a virus.
Yeah.
But
an airborne virus.
Yeah, but it has an intelligence. And the guy who invented this, it gets stolen by a government agency that's malevolent, and they're using it. And the machine is still, I want to say, loyal to its creator.
Okay.
So it finds a way to tell the creator, oh, this is somebody who is going to die soon. And so it just keeps giving him information on, like, this person's going to die soon, this person's going to die soon, this person's going to... So then John and some other, like, sidekick woman, they, like, go on this hunt to find this person and prevent their death. But it gets interesting because some of these people are like malevolent. Yeah. So they find out it's like a murderer.
Oh, okay.
Or they find out like, oh, this person needs to maybe die. I don't know. It's really interesting. But some of them, they like save these people from dying.
Okay.
But like the computer just keeps popping out this information of, so it's the person of interest, right?
Okay, yeah.
And so then they go on this hunt to like interfere with destiny and keep these people from getting offed for one reason or another. Yeah. And they don't know why the computer keeps giving them these people. Yeah. It gets really profound. But this is all prior to Black Mirror. This is all prior to like the entire world's collective going into like a Archon Reptilian 4D timeline. This is prior to COVID, but it's all so relevant. Yeah. You watch it and it's like prophetic.
You look at, because when did that come out, that show? Was it like 2000s?
Like early 2000s, okay. If that.
I feel like, because I'm like grew up without a TV, but when I was 12, my stepdad moved in, and suddenly we had a TV in every room. So between the ages of like 12 and 17, because I moved out when I was 17, it was like, that was like my concentrated like dose of like TV shows and movies. But it was interesting because during that time, there were a lot of AI, like, futuristic timelines being introduced. It was really interesting. So yeah, I remember about it, and I was like,
I mean, that's kind of how they manifest it. Is they just keep putting it into
the collective,
the Hall of Mirrors, the consensus reality. They're like, eventually it'll
manifest itself because so many people are expecting it to happen. Yeah. Well, so this is crazy. So there's a movie from it's like 1927, I think, and it's called Metropolis. Told you about it. It's a silent film. The director of it is insane. He did like 40 movies and kind of bonkers, this guy. Like, not a good guy, I think. Some really disturbing topics. But this movie was really interesting, and it's definitely a classic. I don't think, like, who watches silent films anymore, you know? Like, especially your generation. You know what I mean?
I've watched
like,
one silent
what's
film.
a silent film? Yeah. And even my generation, like not so much, but it was still like you see it, you see the imagery from it, and you're like, oh yeah, Metropolis. I feel like it's kind of in the collective mind. But it was crazy because it's funny, my daughter who's 17 is actually loves silent films because she's like not from this era. I don't know where she's from. She's like 80 years old, I think, in a 17-year-old body. But yeah, so she like loves silent films. So we would pick our silent film to watch, and we watched that one, and it was so fascinating because there was, I think, like 2 hours of lost footage. It's a 3-hour film, and there was like just under 2 hours, I think, of lost footage that was just lost, like for like 80 years or something like that or more. And then they resurfaced in 2016. They found the lost footage, so we were able to watch the film in its entirety. But it's like AI. They talk about the special effects also are incredible, and like how did they pull off some of these effects back in 1927? I don't know. Some of the technology I think hadn't been completely obliterated.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Some of the Antiquitech, yeah. And then, but yeah, it literally talks about like there's an AI lady and like face swapping. Like they take her like Face Off, that movie. Did you ever see that? With oh my god, John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. And they literally like do surgery to swap their faces at one point. I'm not gonna get into that movie. But yeah, but that was in Metropolis. Like they swap the good lady with the bad lady's face. So like everyone thinks that like the bad AI lady is the good one, and the people are so dumb. It's like all these sheeples, and they just fall for it. No one can tell that like, oh, her mannerisms are kind of different and like very robotic, and it's just so relevant to this time. How like I feel like there actually are androids out in the world,
yes,
and in leadership positions, and we're just like following it. I mean, this movie just like talk about a prophecy. Yeah. And it has like an upper world and like kind of a lower world. Like the royal nobility all live on like the surface, and all the like worker peons are like in the caves underneath, and they're the ones that are like the sheeples. They're not very bright, and they're just like whatever the leader says. Like this lady kind of is a prophetess, and she's trying to bring him to the light, but that's the one like they capture her and swap her with the bad one. Mm-hmm. And there's like one guy that knows the difference between the two, and he has to like figure out which one is, but she has a tell, and he can tell her tell in the moment he's able to get her. But anyways, it's hard to describe the movie, but it's incredible how like relevant it is to now, and how prophetic.
Even with the word Metropolis, there's codes in that word, because I sent you that photo from my sister's trip to Spain.
Yes.
And there's one of the spire buildings from the ancient tech civilization, and right on the top it says Metropolis, and it has like the gargoyle and the eagles, and it's like gold and with the advanced architecture in the middle of all these other like Muggle buildings. And you realize like there's something like that was an ode to I think like an Atlantis era of some kind, like a high-tech civilization. This is a theory.
The spires on the buildings.
Well, the word Metropolis, I feel like that is Atlantean. Yeah, I don't know about the spire building. I don't know why they put Metropolis on that spire building, because it feels like those are two different times. But the Metropolis word is so Atlantean to me.
It is.
It just feels like this, like feels like this Metatron, high-tech Merkaba type situation.
Metatron. Yeah, very techy.
Metatron is crazy. So I will say, just to stay on topic, Jim Caviezel also did the Sound of Freedom film.
I'm glad you're bringing that up. Who directed that?
Was it Mel Gibson?
Mel Gibson is involved. Maybe he's the producer.
Did he?
Let me look it up real quick.
Yeah, look it up, because I don't know if he's like directly the one who did this film or not. But it's kind of
involved.
It's the most middle finger that you could do in to Hollywood in a film.
Well, it's interesting because Disney bought it, right? The rights. Did you hear that? So they bought it and then they buried it. They're like, okay, we're not gonna release it. Sorry, right as you're drinking your tea. Okay, it's directed by Alejandro Monteverde.
Okay, so Mel's might not be in this one.
But why? How is he involved? Let's see.
The fact that Disney bought it.
Of course, because they're like, oh, we can't have this out in the world, so we'll buy it and then we'll just tuck it away.
Yeah. Wouldn't want to ruin. I mean, Disneyland is just a bunch of child harvesting centers.
Oh my gosh,
That's
we could
why
get into
kids
Disneyland
go
and Disney
missing from
for
it, so
sure.
The irony there is,
According to the internet,
palpable.
it's just a conspiracy theory. This movie is based on conspiracy theory.
Right. Oh,
Like,
is that what they're saying?
yeah. It's really funny. This is all just mad conspiracy theories.
Fiction.
It's fiction.
That's wild.
Well, it's yeah. Okay, so it doesn't say. I don't know how Mel Gibson is involved, or if he's just a big fan of.
He might have promoted it.
He might have.
And
let me make sure we're still recording.
Jim
Oh, we are.
was the hero of this film.
Did you watch this film?
I didn't. My mom watched it.
Oh, okay.
But it was a movement when this film was airing in like I want to say select theaters.
Yes.
My mom went to see it, to go see it, and she has. I love my mom. She has her group of awake people. And they'll go to these. They'll like promote these public things. Like my mom went to see the Vaxxed.
Oh yeah.
Film.
I never saw that one, but
yeah. And so that's all that to say she saw it and she said she was crying, and my mom had a heart for the children and was isolated in her knowledge of the cabal for a long time.
Aww.
I almost feel like it's part of my karma to just continue her burden, because she was like fighting this silent battle like for so long because no one believed her.
Yeah, I feel like your mom's been.
She just was anchoring those codes in for when the world was ready.
She's like ahead of her time.
She's always been ahead of her time. She's very. I think that's why I have prophetic abilities. It's because of my mom. My mom actually can dream up the future as well, but she just represses most of her dreams because most of them are nightmares, unfortunately.
I was gonna say, they're probably really scary.
And now I'm getting a taste of that myself. I'm like, oh, this is why we don't remember our dreams, because
like,
they're getting horrible.
You're carrying the torch for her.
Yeah, I'm like,
well, she's probably tired.
She's tired.
She has like what, 6 kids, 5 kids?
Oh,
5 of you.
6.
6. Okay, 6 kids.
And
3.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
She's busy.
She's busy.
Yeah, full-time caregiver.
Yeah.
Like never rests.
That's cool.
She's really great. She's a saint.
I could tell. I only met her once, but I was like, oh my gosh.
If she could save all the babies, she would. She literally would. She's one of those people who would put her money where her mouth is and be like, I will save all the babies.
Yeah. Aww.
For real.
Yeah.
And so, mad respect. Shout out to my mom.
This movie was probably really hard for her to watch.
So it was, I want to say, was so healing for her.
Was it healing?
Because to go from you're crazy, there's no such thing as QAnon, there's no such thing as the cabal, to watching this film.
Yeah.
And like I'm getting emotional talking about it because I'm like, oh my god, like Jim Caviezel in this film single-handedly like validated what my mom had been feeling for years.
Wow.
And it's so weird how his connection to my mom, because he also, my mom's like an angel. She's like actually like an angel in a human body.
For sure.
My Jim must have a connection to her because she watched The Person of Interest and like that was so resonant with her.
Yeah.
I don't think she saw The Passion of the Christ.
Okay.
But I was just like, oh my gosh, like this man like fulfilled something for all these people who have just been silently carrying this burden for so long, and to like give a voice and expression to it on this film. Like I think that's why people were making such a point to do these screenings together as this like almost like a party or celebration. Like they would all go in together and like there was finally, I want to say they finally felt seen and heard.
Yeah.
And so that was really beautiful that he like offered that through this film. And of course Disney would try to bury it.
Like, we can't have this out there in the world. You gotta wonder. I'm like, why are you trying to bury it? It just makes it more obvious.
Well, Disney, we know Disney, Mickey Mouse is from the Pentagon.
Oh my gosh. We should do a Disney episode because there's so much.
There's a lot with
so
that.
Much.
Oh, we could unpack that so
we could.
deep.
We really could.
I mean, Mickey Mouse has like hung himself. Like, he's made content for the masses that were promoting self-harm.
Yeah. The really disturbing, some of the old Mickey Mouse from like the 20s, 30s, whenever it was, they are so disturbing.
So gross.
Or if you slow it down, you're just like, oh.
Ew.
That's horrifying, and I would never let my child watch that.
Mm-hmm.
And the white gloves that he wears, that symbolizes the touchless death in Freemasonry. They wear the white gloves, and then it's like they're not a part of, like, even if they are, what is it, part of the death ritual, it's their hands didn't actually touch it, so that like kind of absolves them of the crime. So yeah, why is Mickey Mouse wearing white gloves? Yeah, there's just so much symbology in it.
Yeah, and I feel like wearing red, that is always kind of a ode. Mm-hmm. Not to ruin the color red for everybody.
I know, I still love red.
I still love red.
Well, it's funny because I have a couple pairs of red shoes because I love red, but I'm like, I just like, oh god, it's the red shoes. Oh, I'm like traumatized.
It's like akin to having like a dark symbol tattooed on your body where you're just like, I don't want to have to be part of the
I don't want to be associated with
healing
any of
the prejuration of this.
Yeah,
it's a lot to take on.
It is a lot
at this time.
Yeah. So they just sit in my closet. I got a pair of orange shoes recently. Oh, and that's fun.
Orange shoes are, I love
they're
the
orange
color
leather.
orange.
I actually do too. It reminds me of sunshine.
The color orange reminds me of Pleiadians.
It's like such a happy color.
Oh yeah, hey. I really feel like the color orange. I used to hate it, and then after my stand-in, I loved it. So I'm like, oh, my stand-in loves the color orange.
High vibe. It's high vibe.
It's so, well, it's sacral.
High frequency. Very sacral.
Chakra.
Mm-hmm.
Creativity. And, and then my painting style totally changed after. It's just crazy. The art I make is insane now. She's out there. But orange, color magic is a thing for sure. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of black and red in the occult. And also the checkboard, black and white squares. Yeah. That's a whole thing that they do. Mm-hmm. And
you'll see that in movies a lot. They always have like a room that's got like black and white checkers.
Yeah.
There's just so much symbology that it just starts to stand out. It's actually my kids that started seeing all that.
Whoa.
And they're the ones that point out to me, I'm like, dang, you guys are observant. But they'll see all the symbology in like the movies. I'm like, oh wow, you caught that. Amazing. But
they're so advanced. Yeah, I think my daughter, like, she was gifted a Mickey Mouse Halloween costume. Oh, I threw it away so fast. I was like, I almost wanted to burn it, but then I was like, that's polyester. That's messy.
Oh yeah.
So I just threw it out. Like, oh, no. Oh.
Well, I know whenever we would get like Disney gifts. It was just like, oh, I'm just passing these along. Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah. Super weird.
Okay. So Jim Caviezel, Mel Gibson.
Yeah. Actually, I will say one thing about the Sound of Freedom movie, which was interesting because Mira Sorvino was in it, and that's also before your era. Because she was like, I feel like early 90s is when she started becoming really popular. So she's in a lot of like 90s movies.
Okay.
And then literally just fell off the map. Probably around the same time that like Mel Gibson started speaking, kind of when like there were some people that were getting really famous in the 90s, and all of a sudden they just fell off the map and like literally have not resurfaced, or like barely started resurfacing until recently. And you're just like, what happened to those people? Because they seemed like they were making really their way to the top, and then all of a sudden just like, again, crickets. But Mira Sorvino, she's in The Sound of Freedom, and she was one of those people. She was in a bunch of movies, like totally, everyone like loved her. And then she just fell off. But then I think she spoke out later about how kind of like, I don't know if she went as deep as Mel, but she was talking about like the perversion of Hollywood. And I think she got, asked to do some really compromising things and she refused. And so I'm always like, it's always encouraged when someone just falls off. You can see them making their way to the top. And then, like, you just don't hear from them again. And you're like, oh, they didn't fall for the contract or they didn't sell their soul.
They set a boundary.
Yeah. And then they just got blacklisted. But so I thought it was interesting that, oh, she's in the Sound of Freedom film.
That's a very positive sign.
What a comeback.
What a comeback.
And I don't know if she's done other stuff, like, in the more recent future, but, or not future, in the more recent.
That's a statement right there.
Yeah, and I thought, oh, how interesting.
She's like, I'm gonna be part of the film that's the biggest FU to Hollywood ever.
I think so. And I haven't done a deep dive on her, but I just thought that was a really interesting, when I saw her in there, like her name as one of the three main characters, I was like, oh, that's fascinating.
That's really fascinating.
Yeah. So, anyways, just more food for thought.
I mean, I love this. We could take so many directions with this.
Well, it's like, it's interesting how one rabbit hole just leads to another, and
yeah, I feel like there's something else I want to talk about with Hollywood. We could get into it at another time.
This can be like to be continued.
Yeah. What's funny is I didn't think I had a lot of Hollywood or pop culture knowledge, but when we talk, it gets downloaded.
Oh, that's so interesting.
It's channeled. It's really interesting because I've never been one to, I've hardly watched movies growing up.
Same.
But I just feel like there's some people that are, it's almost like they're recruited by Hollywood because they're so powerful that Hollywood wants to use their energy.
Absolutely.
Because they know they're influential, but because it's of the light, there's always a push and pull power dynamic. Like, I feel like Hans Zimmer is one of those people because he created all of the soundtracks to the most popular films of all time. Because his music is, it's godly, it's otherworldly. I was gonna say it's
otherworldly. It's like transcendent.
Everything he makes becomes a masterpiece, and it
gets
to
a different place.
It gets imbued into your, like, it activates codes in your mind, and it's so powerful. My sister and her husband saw him live.
Did they really?
And they saw him propose to his girlfriend.
What?
Which was really sweet. And Hans Zimmer, I don't know if I said Hans Zimmerman, sorry, it's Hans Zimmer, not Zimmerman.
You said Hans Zimmer.
Okay, good.
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe
I heard Hans Zimmer.
Maybe the first time I said it, I said Hans Zimmerman.
I don't know. We know what you're talking
about. Hans Zimmer. He did the soundtrack to The Prince of Egypt.
Which you loved that movie, right? As a kid. I still have never seen it.
There were two movies I watched obsessively.
Yeah.
Like almost every day. Yeah. It was the dinosaur movie, which is so ironic because now I don't believe in dinosaurs.
Wait, which dinosaur one?
It was literally just called Dinosaur or something like that.
I never saw that one either.
It was like a animated child film, but it was also had heavy topics.
Dinosaur. Oh. Was it the Land Before Time? Or a different one? Just Dinosaur.
It was computer animated.
Okay. Didn't see
and it was
that
a film. And I think it was just called like Dinosaur or something.
Never saw it.
And then the movie Prince of Egypt. And the Prince of Egypt film. Oh my god. Is so timeless and good. Like, profoundly, like, there's codes in that movie.
Oh, I bet.
It is amazing. And they knocked it out of the park. The soundtracks are amazing. The music's amazing. And it really captured the essence of this push and pull of, like, Moses was the one to, like, he could traverse Egypt. He was Egyptian royalty, technically.
Yeah.
And he was favored and beloved by the royal family and his brother, and then he is also the one that has to single-handedly, like, be the fall of Egypt by his soul retrieval, like getting all of his people to get out from under slavery or indentured servitude or whatever it was into freedom. And so there's this song that Hans Zimmer does for this film. I wish I could remember the name of it. But Hans Zimmer did the soundtrack for Interstellar. And he did the soundtrack for
feel like he's done
like almost any
so
other
many.
amazing famous movie that
Any
you can think
epic
of.
movie, it's Hans Zimmer.
Inception.
Oh yeah,
He did the music for Inception.
that was an interesting movie.
So Interstellar and Inception both have information, because I don't believe in space, because I think NASA's a theater. So I'm like, I think
which Disney was also part of.
Disney, Mickey Mouse is constantly promoting space.
Yeah, well, Disney actually, this will have to be another episode, but like Disney actually was one of the founders of NASA. If you dig way deep, and Aleister Crowley, it's just wild.
Oh,
it goes deep.
I can't even talk about Aleister Crowley, but I have so much I want to say about him.
Well, we have got so many episodes in the...
Okay, we'll just plug back in the down.
Yeah, we'll revisit that topic.
But all that to say, I feel like Hans Zimmerman is almost like, poor guy, he has to like make these amazing soundtracks to these for Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I'm like, I don't know. This is the weirdest collaboration. Like a Satan group and then like
this like
an anointed man trying to make magic together.
I want to know more about Hans Zimmer now. I'm so curious.
He is.
I need to like
crazy powerful.
That's so interesting.
Everything he makes becomes gold.
Yeah.
He just has that magic touch.
Just gifted. Yeah. Music is like one of the most powerful. Like
I'm sure he could like fart out his ass and it would be the next classical masterpiece.
Amazing.
I don't know if he's like a Beethoven, Mozart reincarnation or what.
Something. Probably.
High.
Yeah.
High vibe. Frequency. So,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, I don't know. I went on a tangent there.
No. I feel like we should have a Hans Zimmer episode now, or like part of it.
Let's talk about Hans Zimmer. Let's talk about Aleister Crowley, because I have a bunch of notes on Aleister Crowley.
Okay. Should we do that as the next one?
Yes.
We should. Okay. We'll do Aleister Crowley, Hans Zimmer. Stay tuned.
This is just a foreshadow into our next episode, I guess.
Yeah.
Fun.
Okay. And then we'll probably sprinkle a few other topics in there, but
oh yeah.
Yeah.
There will be other things.
Yeah.
We'll talk about.
Maybe we could talk about, honestly, the Christopher Walken thing. Maybe I could, the Natalie Wood.
Yeah.
Because that was sort of interesting how Mel Gibson was like, I think he might be the Antichrist. And then there's that whole mysterious death of Natalie Wood. Maybe I'll dig into that.
That's a big one.
That's a big one. It's been an unsolved mystery.
Yeah.
Well, supposedly she just got drunk and drowned. That's the story.
That's a dumb
but
story.
Nobody knows. Like, somehow there's just no other explanation other than that. And I guess just Wagner and Walken just stood by and watched.
Yeah, I guess that's what you do when someone's drunk.
I don't know. She drank too much and fell off the boat. Poor thing. We just didn't even notice. No idea. Anyways.
It's just like, they're kind of, I mean, at least outing themselves as being poor at being men.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they're just like, oh, when a woman is drowning, we just let her drown.
Definitely don't want you around in a crisis.
Yeah.
So
in the very least, undependable.
Yeah.
Unreliable.
Yeah. Totally.
And then I would like to talk at some point about Diana's
definitely
death.
Maybe she could be the next episode after.
Yeah. Because this could be our next episode. Let's talk about the royal family.
Okay, we'll do that one.
Because I have some notes.
I love the royal family. Well, I love Diana. I don't love the royal family.
We hate the royal family, but we love talking about them.
We do.
Let's talk about the royal family.
Okay, that's exciting.
Great.
Yeah, I'm so excited because I'm like obsessed with Diana. I'm obsessed with her since I was like 5 and I first found out who she was.
Yeah.
Because she's like an angel.
She is.
Well, maybe we could tie Hans Zimmer into that. What do you think? Okay. Should we just call this a wrap?
We'll call this a wrap. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.